The Fly-by-Wire A380 has been fantastic since release. It really is incredible that we get access to this iconic Airbus long hauler here on Microsoft Flight Sim on PC. But there have been further improvements to this plane that I think may have slipped under our radar due to the release of the IndyBuilds A350. In today's video, I'll be showcasing these features in depth. But before we go anywhere, make sure you have subscribed to my channel. Only 18% of you have, so any help here is appreciated. Now first up, to access the latest features, you will need to update your A380 to the developer version. This is the build where the Fly-by-Wire team test their latest and greatest features before rolling them into the stable build. Of course you can do this via the Fly-by-Wire installer, as you can see on your screen. Now to very quickly run through the latest features, they are as follows: automatic step climbs, an overhaul of the flight warning system, improvements to the OANS, the onboard airport navigation system, a brand new reset panel, and the big one is the introduction of the OIT, or the onboard information system. Let's break these down. So following on from the introduction of step climbs in the A380, for those that fly long haul sim sessions but find themselves either falling asleep, taking a dog for a walk, or getting distracted by friends or family, you can now enable automatic step climbs via the EFB. So your A380 won't miss a climb to a new flight level, which you normally go to in the interests of speed or endurance. It's very easy to turn on. Head into the EFB, go into settings, realism, and you'll find the setting to turn on automatic step climbs right there. The flight warning system has seen its biggest overhaul since release. Now many of you will be familiar with ECAM faults and the resultant automatic checklist when failures are sensed by the aircraft, but for emergency procedures beyond the scope of automatic detection, such as fire in the cockpit, you can now access the abnormal procedures checklist with this button in front of the throttle quadrant. It's really good attention to detail, as these checklists are dynamic and they will react to the stage of flight you're at. For example, in the event of hydraulics failure, it will remind you to manually extend your gear when descending. It's massively nerdy, and indeed most of us won't even bother to look at these if you don't simulate emergencies, but it's very realistic and therefore very cool. There's some small but interesting improvements to the onboard airport navigation system, allowing you to place flags or crosses on the airport map. Now I'm sure there's some way you could turn this into a game of noughts and crosses, but this can actually be really helpful if you have a certain routing to follow at a busy airport, an obstacle to avoid, or there's a no-tammed taxiway close. You insert these additions by double clicking on the display. It lets you put in a cross or a flag. Indeed, you can even select a taxiway or a runway or even a gate to highlight. It's just really cool. You will need a Navigraph subscription to the OANS to work. You can connect your Navigraph account to the A380 via the EFB. Now sticking with this theme but heading up to the overhead panel, there's a new functional reset panel. It looks a bit like a circuit breaker panel, but supposedly it's not that, as these do not cut power but instead cause various computer-based systems to reset, from the FMC to the aforementioned OANS. Now don't really do too much up here, but if you want to save a few FPS and are not too bothered about navigating around airports using the onboard map, pull the airport navigation reset and you can expect a little performance boost, as there is a reduction in VRAM usage. And finally, in my opinion, I've saved the best feature to last: the implementation of the OIT, the onboard information terminal. It's here, and while it's not complete yet, it is a great step up. This is basically an inbuilt electronic flight bag. It's got all the features, or at least most of the features you see in the Fly-by-Wire EFB, allowing you to pull up airport charts from Navigraph, display your load sheet from SimBrief, and in the future you'll even be able to do your in-flight calculations here, whether that be takeoff or landing. It makes life so much easier when simming at busy airports on VATSIM, as opposed to tilting around to the iPad and not being able to look out to the front. It's great for situational awareness, as I said, in busy places. I do look forward to more features being introduced here, making life a little bit easier. It's really cool, and of course many of you will now be familiar with it, as it is a very similar system to what you've got on the A350. It's quite clear that the fly-by-wire team will not be slowing down on this aircraft. It goes above and beyond what we'd expect for a team completely doing this for 100% free, but I guess that's what you get when it's a project fueled by passion, so it's a pleasure to showcase the fly-by-wire A380's latest features here on the Pilot Stud channel. On that note, I hope you've enjoyed this video, a little in-depth sort of snippet into the A380. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, do be sure to leave your thoughts down below. On that note, be sure to subscribe if you haven't done already, and if you're heading to this month's FS weekend in Amsterdam, I hope to see you there. On that note, from me today, that is all, and bye bye.